Right now, I would like to continue with our final presentation, Digital Competence for Language Teachers Toolkit by DC4LT. In this presentation, I will be accompanied with my colleague Elizaveta Shikhova from ITMO University in Russia. I will again begin with some background as why we're developing a new toolkit for language teachers, as there are a few toolkits already mentioned today. So I will begin with something that we have completed already almost a year ago, which was a technology overview handbook for language teachers, which served as a background, as a starting point for the new toolkit. So this technology overview handbook was developed as a simple list of 20 technology most commonly used in language learning, supplied with short definitions and also mostly commonly used practices in training the basic language skills such as speaking, writing, listening, and reading. So this particular resource received quite some positive feedback in our webinar and training that we've done in the project, and we decided to extend it. So I will also mention that this handbook was based on two sources: a review of studies on technology as language learning and teaching, and also the handbook of teaching and second language teaching and learning. From these two sources, we extracted the list of 20 most commonly used technologies in language learning, but by no means the list is limiting or exhaustive. So I can also give you a brief intro to the handbook. So these are the 20 technologies that are included there. And I can also go through the handbook itself. You'll see that it's very concise. So for example, the technologies are educational games and gamification. So here you see that they're mostly used for train these skills, and it has some definitions and examples to specific tools. And then we have online video audio, social networking, instant messaging, educational dictionaries, course management systems, collaborative writing, automated feedback, intelligent tutoring system, and chatbots, in-class tools and clickers, virtual reality, voice recognition, speech recognition, websites and various digital resources, digital libraries, ebooks, whiteboards, online courses and MOOCs, wearable technology, augmented reality, and robots. So these are the technologies available in this handbook. It's published and available to all who is interested. And we also have a video on our YouTube channel where we go through this set of technologies and we present it in a webinar format. So there is a link below and I can post it later in the chat. And to extend this very concise and short handbook, we decided to connect with another well-established toolkit by ECML. It's called Inventory of Ict Tools. And what we did, for each of these technologies, we link the examples of tools that we've collected to the toolkit entries at ECML where possible. We also extended each of the technologies with references to open educational technologies. We gave examples of practices and we provided materials for teacher training. So the toolkit became not only a resource for language teachers, but also for language teacher trainers. I can give a quick example of the topic of online video and audio. We have the definition of online video or internet video and a podcast as a good representation of audio. And then we give examples how that is used for listening and reading. Reading meaning very often now the videos and audios are accompanied by subtitles. And then we give examples of these tools. And of course, we link them in this kind of way to entries in the ECML toolkit. This is the ECML toolkit. This is where we refer to. We also supply the reference to our Google Classroom learning management system, where we have educational resources available on the topic. And we supply open educational resources like this example in our Space on OER Commons. Here, I would like to pause and give words to Elizaveta so that she can give you a slightly more detailed example of the module she developed for this toolkit.
Okay, apparently we have fireworks. Yes, so a little bit about the educational games and gamification. So as Mikhail has already described how we developed our toolkit, every part has these competencies and skills that you can develop using it with your students. It also has the examples. So it's very good if you would like to familiarize yourself with different toolkits, with different tools. At the beginning today, some of our key speakers, they mentioned that sometimes you know about the existence of tools, but you don't really know how to use them and where to kind of like know all of the tools that you can use for this specific methodology or to develop these specific tools. We got you. In our toolkit, we have developed everything specifically that you can use one tool and you can see how to use it and what kind of skills can this tool particularly help you to develop in your students. So with educational games, you can see as an example, first we give a little bit an introduction, like what is educational games, what kind of technology are we talking about. Then you can see that there is the name of the tool that is going to be described more specifically. We have open educational content. If one exists, we have already provided the link here. So if, for example, you would like to see and use it already, something that has already been created, you can just use the link that is already here in the toolkit and use it in your practice. Another thing that we really wanted to have is the example of practice. So it's not just the description of the tool, but the actual things that you can already use in the classroom. So first there is a little bit of a description, like what are people using it, how do they use it, what are the main functions, what are the cool things that we know already about some kind of tool. For example, this is RenP, that is one of the games that is described in our toolkit. It's not a tool that was developed with educational purposes per se, but it's it is free and it's possible to use it in the classroom. And this is one of the coolest reasons we have created this toolkit, because you can see a tool that was developed not with educational purpose, but you could see it being used in the classroom and how to use it, because everything is already described here for you. You can just open that and read how people use this. For example, this is the example of how it could be used using mobile phones. So you can share the link with your students and they can use this link and play this game together with you. All of the activities are very specifically described, so you don't have to guess. Like how to develop a reading is described here, how to develop listening with your students, speaking and writing using every specific tool. So for example, with RenP here, we have the ideal, let's just say, ground, ideal almost to practice reading, to practice speaking if you use it as a discussion tool. And you can do so much more, and everything is described here, so you can just not guess how to use it, but just use the things that are already created. So first, the things that I have described, they were for you to use in your classroom as a language teacher, for example. But there are also something that can be used to develop your own skills. So this can be used as a teacher training thing. This was obviously based on the series of webinars that we gave. This one was mine, the Developing Digital Narrative for Quest-Based Learning. So RenP is a tool that you can use in the classroom. Everything is described how to use it, but there is more. The webinar that we have created, it's how to develop your skills, how to use this specific tool, how to use it with your students, how to use it with other teachers. So you can go, there is a video here, you can click on the video and watch the whole webinar how to use it. If, for example, the activities were not enough for you or you did not understand how to use the open educational resources